guys, I hope that you're all well and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I've decided to do a bit of a Q&A. I haven't done a Q&A or an ask me anything type video in a little while, and seeing as there's quite a few new subscribers over here now, I thought that it would be nice to get to know each other a little better. So I did a little post on Instagram and on Instagram stories asking you guys what questions you had for me, and I had a flood of them. And they're all really different as well, which is nice. So I'm gonna get started and just go straight into the video. The questions are on my phone, so if I keep looking at my phone, that's why. I used to do this where I'd like post who asked the question on screen and stuff, but this time I'm just not gonna do that because it's like an editing nightmare. So yeah, I'm not gonna say who asked me the questions, I'm just gonna go in with the question and give you the answer. So the first question is, how the bloody hell do you get your hair looking that lush every day, those waves? So I did do a hair tutorial on this. This is a question I'm asked all the time. What do I curl my hair with? How do I curl my hair? So I'm gonna pop the video link below. I do my hair exactly the same now as I did back in that video. I use the same hair tools. I don't really use a lot of products or anything, but the tongue I use is a Babyliss curling wand, and it's like less than £20 from Boots. And I basically get the wand like this and wrap my hair around it, hold it for a few seconds and let it go. And then I just sort of like zhuzh it up. So the next question, do you know why Harry is deaf? So we don't really know the reason why Harry's deaf, as in like, was it a genetic thing, or is it because he had an illness or something like that? What we do know is that Harry is missing the hairs that line your cochlea. Without going into too much detail, you basically have very, very tiny microscopic hairs in your inner ear that vibrate and send a signal to your brain to tell you that you're hearing a sound. Harry doesn't have those hairs, so the sound goes in, everything's fine until it gets to that point, and then the signal can't go to his brain, which is why he has cochlear implants. The reason for the hairs not being there, no, we don't actually know why that happened. So yeah, there could be a chance that we do have another deaf child if it's a genetics thing. You can have a blood test, which we haven't had done yet for, I don't really know why. I don't know, we just haven't really had it done yet to see if you carry a deaf gene. Do you or did you have a job outside of social media? Yes, I do have another job, a proper job. Obviously blogging, YouTube, social media is a proper job as well, but I call it like my extra job or my second job. My main job is a part-time buyer at a IT distribution. Strangely enough, I've actually been there 10 years next month, which seems like a hell of a long time. That's like an actual third of my life spent in the same place, in the same team, which is a little bit nuts, but I do really enjoy it. I like having the option of going to work and switching off from this whole social media life that I have, and I don't have to take photos in that job. It's a lot less pressure, I find, than YouTube and blogging, and I go for the social side of it as well. And obviously I earn money from it too. I don't know if it's forever, but yeah, that is my job. Snogging or hugging? I'd say hugging, because obviously I like snogging Scott, but you can't like snog everyone. So I definitely go with hugging because I really like hugging people. I'm really touchy-feely, and yeah, hugging for sure. So my next question is, have you got any advice about saving and how you save up the things? So I used to be pretty horrendous at saving and pretty bad with money. I still wouldn't say that I'm really good with money, but I'm quite frugal. Is that the word? I think it's frugal. But I like to spend the most money on things that I'm gonna get a lot of use out of. So things like cameras, I would spend a lot of money on. A handbag, even though I don't buy them, my other half does, but I see a lot of value in a handbag because you're going to use it all day every day. You want it to last, and it's on your arm all the time. You want it to be pretty. Coats I would spend quite a lot on because they are on the outside and you see them a lot, whereas like things like t-shirts and jeans and things like that, I don't spend a lot of money on because I think it's a waste of money spending a lot of money on them, if that makes sense. I guess that's kind of how I save money, is by knowing the value of things and only spending money on things that I really, really need or I'm really, really going to use. Other things I do for savings is I have a savings account. So if you don't have a savings account, I would recommend that you set one up. It's nice to have somewhere separate that you can keep your money, and obviously some savings accounts are set up so you can't access them, which is quite good. Mine you can access, but I'm quite strict with it, so that's quite good. Oh, this is such a good question, I love it. What's the one thing you love most about Scott and the one thing you would change about him? So the thing I love most about Scott is he is so generous and he is so kind. We were going shopping, for example, which happens very, very rarely these days, but if I saw something online or if we saw something in a shop and I say, oh, I really, really love that, but it's really expensive, so I don't buy it because, like I said, I don't spend too much money on things. He would remember it, and then 6 months later it would appear under the Christmas tree. So he's really good at like remembering what I really like, and I know that sounds really materialistic and stuff, but I just think it's really thoughtful that he remembers things like that, and like little things as well. So like, even like, it doesn't have to be something expensive, but he just knows exactly what I like, and I really, really like that about him, and I think it's really sweet. So the other part of that question was, what was one thing that I would change about Scott? And I was about to go on about how he has such a short fuse, and like, if he can't do something like immediately, he's like, oh my god, I can't do this. Well, he usually swears actually. But to be honest, I don't think I would change that about him, just because that's part of his personality, and anyone that knows Scott would just know that he gets really frustrated really easily, and that's just him, and he swears. He's got a potty mouth. How do you keep so positive? If you are new here, you might not know that my partner Scott had a brain tumour a couple of years ago and brain cancer, and also my son was diagnosed as deaf. So obviously those things are really, really hard, and they put a lot of strain on us, but I decided that I wasn't going to let those things define me and my life, and I didn't want to be dragged down and feel awful all the time because I couldn't change those things. So I just decided that I was going to be positive about them, and whatever the outcome, I would just try and look for something happy and positive in each situation. I don't know if I should do like a whole video on positive thinking or something. Let me know if that's something you would watch. How is the wedding planning going? So I think I'm going to do a little wedding haul in a couple of weeks, because I've got a whole big box of stuff that I've been collecting for the wedding that I haven't shown anybody yet. I haven't really done a lot of videos or posts about the wedding, just because a lot of it I don't want to tell everyone, because obviously I want all my guests to be surprised and enjoy the whole day. I don't want to tell everyone what the decor is going to be like, and yeah. So I guess a lot of my posts and my videos and planning stuff is going to be shown after the wedding, but I will show you some of the things that I've picked up for my hen party and for the wedding day itself. Where in the world would you want to live other than the UK? I don't know. I feel like this is a really hard question. I always think to myself, I'd love to go and live on like a desert island and just have like no TV, no social media, and just live like a really, I don't know, a really clean, natural life on the beach somewhere, but then I just think I would get really bored and it's not really for me. So perhaps somewhere where you get hot weather but you also get like nice winters. So maybe like somewhere in America or Canada or something. I have a friend that lives in Canada and it looks insane there. Like you have a really outdoor lifestyle and they have like proper seasons and stuff. So if I was going to live anywhere other than the UK, I would probably say Canada. I'm going to go with Canada. What would be your dream job if you could do anything? Do you know what? I don't know. I find this question really hard. I feel like I can't answer a lot of these questions. If it was like a really super dream job, other than doing like YouTube vlogging, social media full time if I could, it would probably be like doing something with food. So I really like cooking, but I don't think I'd enjoy the pressure of being like a chef in a restaurant. But yeah, maybe like something to do with food, like a food taster. That would be quite cool, like traveling around the world, going to different restaurants and tasting food. Yes, that is my dream job. So what do we call that? Like a restaurateur? No, that's not the, is that a word? I don't know. A food critic, that is the word I'm looking for. I think I'd be a food critic. I'd really enjoy that. What is your Holy Grail makeup product? So I'd probably have to go with foundation, just because I don't ever leave the house without it on, unless I've got a really good tan in the summer and my skin's good. But seeing as I don't have great skin, I would definitely say foundation. I really like Estee Lauder Double Wear and L'Oreal True Match. I kind of like mix it together and make like a really nice medium coverage base. What is your favourite type of food? Definitely find this question quite hard. As I said, I'm quite a foodie, but I really like roast dinners and I really like Thai food, so probably both of those, and I really like Japanese as well. So I don't think I could decide between a roast dinner, Japanese food and Thai. What is your favourite just me activity? So I'm assuming that is like, what is your favourite self-care activity? So one of my favourite self-care activities is popping on a face mask, turning off all the TV and electronics and reading a book. So I say turning off electronics, I read my book on my Kindle, but that doesn't count because it's a book. But yeah, I really love reading. I find it so therapeutic. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm quite often posting about book recommendations, or if you guys have got any book recommendations. And yeah, I just really love reading. I find it such an escapism. I feel so relaxed when I'm reading. So many people say to me I don't have time for reading, but if you just set aside 15 minutes, half an hour, just before you go to sleep, instead of scrolling through your phone on Instagram, I promise you, you will have time for it and you will really enjoy it as well. So the next question, do you intend to add to your gorgeous little family in the near future and give Harry a sibling? I get asked this all the time. It's funny, isn't it? I guess when you have one child, people just naturally assume that you will have another one. And yes, I would absolutely love to give Harry a sibling. I kind of wish that it had happened sooner perhaps, but for health reasons and things that have happened in our family, it just hasn't really been the right time. And then this year was all about us and us getting married, and I didn't want to be pregnant getting married or anything. So yeah, I think after we get married, we might, I don't want to say try, because I don't think we're ever going to be those people that try, but I think we will not try. Hang on, what do you call it? I think we'll do that thing where you don't not try. Hang on. Why am I finding this so hard? Yeah, we're not going to not try, but we're not going to try. Yeah, I feel like you get what I mean. We're just not gonna like focus on it. I had an ectopic pregnancy which could have reduced my fertility chances, but we don't really know, so I don't want to put like a ton of pressure on it. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, then, you know, we'll go down that road when we get to it. But yes, I would love to give Harry a sibling in the future. What is your idea of a perfect day? What would you do and who would you spend it with? Oh, this is really hard. I guess my idea of a perfect day is the sun is shining, it's warm, like you don't have to wear a jumper, it's not chilly. We're just out on a walk somewhere, whether it's a beach, a forest, like a country park, and I'm with all my family and Harry and Scott and my close friends and having a picnic, just getting fresh air. That is my idea of the perfect day. Or on the flip side of that, and this sounds so mean, I'd spend the day at a spa, kid-free, with my best pals. How do you balance work, YouTube and family all at the same time? I'm really glad somebody asked this question. I actually hope that they would. I don't know is the answer. It's funny because I wanted someone to ask this, but only because I don't want to paint like a false picture of it being like really easy and it looks like I balance it all, because I find it quite hard. I find it quite stressful and overwhelming having two jobs, one of them being YouTube and blogging and social media, which I feel like is a 24-hour job, 7 days a week. Like you can't really switch off from it, and if you do, your stats suffer. So yeah, I do find it hard. I would say my top tips, I try not to do too much work in the evenings, and I do think that my work suffers from this sometimes, because obviously if I stayed up till 1 o'clock in the morning editing and all sorts, I could get so much more content out there and so much more done, but I just think my mental health would suffer a lot for it. I spend Monday, Tuesday and Friday at work, so I'm at work from 8:45 to 5:15, and then obviously I'm doing the bedtime routine and everything. So by the time it comes to 7:30 and Harry's asleep in bed, I want to sit down and have some dinner and chat to Scott. I don't want to be up editing all night. So on Monday, Tuesdays and Fridays, I try not to do any work in the evenings, and I leave that for my Wednesdays and Thursdays, and then sometimes at the weekend. I also try to not put too much pressure on myself. It is very hard. I don't feel like I need to keep up an appearance or anything like that at all. I just feel like I need to keep putting content out there. I don't want people to forget about me, obviously. And yeah, and I really enjoy doing YouTube and blogging as well, so I don't want to not have time for it. Yeah, I don't think there is a perfect balance. And then obviously when I am at home with Harry, I don't want to be working all the time because I feel guilty, even though that obviously I do this for him, for memories, and also financially I do it for him. If I'm honest, I don't think anyone really has the perfect balance, but we're all just doing the best we can and we're all completely winging it. What's been your most favourite country to visit on holiday? I'm gonna have to say Santorini because it was just so stunning. Like, everywhere you looked was beautiful. Like the sea, the buildings, the flowers, the people, the streets. It was just gorgeous. The food was gorgeous. The people were gorgeous. It was just like the nicest country ever, and I would love, love, love to go back. Where is your absolute bucket list place? So I'm probably gonna say the Maldives or Bora Bora or Bali, somewhere like that. Somewhere really tropical and beautiful and like white sand and crystal clear waters. Where are you with your Invisalign treatment? So I have literally just gone over halfway, which is so cool. So if you didn't know already, I have Invisalign braces. I have them on my teeth now. They're like clear braces that you clip on and clip out. I've done a ton of videos, I'll pop them below. I'm thinking about filming another video soon just about like how I found it so far. Although I don't really have that much more to add to it, but yeah, just thought I'd give you an update of where I'm at. What are your top 3 favourite books? I don't think I could give you like my top 3 favourite books of all time, but I'll give you my top 3 that I can think of that I've read recently. So I've just read a book called Bring Me Back and I loved it so much. I don't want to ruin it at all, so I'll briefly tell you what it was about. It was about a girl that goes missing and then it's about what happens 12 years later. And that's what I'm going to tell you, just because I really don't want to spoil it for anyone. That would be the worst thing ever. But I'd really, really recommend Bring Me Back. It's like a thriller type thing. I've also just read Sophie Kinsella's My Not So Perfect Life, which is a real chick flick, feel-good book. Really, really, really enjoyed that one. I thought it was a really nice light read to read after I'd read like some really intense thrillers. And then another book I read quite a while ago, but just always sticks in my mind, is The Couple Next Door. And that was brilliant. It's about a couple who leave their baby at home and something happens to the baby, and then it's about what happens, and there's a complete plot twist. I did not see it coming and I really, really liked that one. So if you like sort of thrillers, then that is one for you as well. What is your favourite room in your new house and which is your least favourite? So if you are new here, you might not know that I have just moved house. I've actually just done a house tour if you fancy watching it. But yeah, I'm finding it hard to pick my favourite room, because in my last house, Harry's room was hands down my favourite room. It was the lightest room in the house, and it was just, I like the way it's decorated and all sorts. In this house, there's like bits of rooms that I really like. So I love our kitchen because it's really, really big. So we have a kitchen diner and it's just got so much space. I also really like our living room because it has this really long wall of windows and it just feels really light and airy and spacious. And I really like Harry's room just again because I like the decor, and I like the fact that it's really light and airy. So I'm going to cut this video off here because I know that it's already really long. I'm going to save some of your questions for a Q&A video in the future, but thanks so much for everyone that asked me something, and I hope you liked my answers. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!